Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel for another race recap of the ZRacing Level Up series. Today we are already at stage 3, racing the Hilly Route Reverse in Watopia. Now I have to admit, preparation today was far from ideal. I jumped on the trainer straight after work and only made it onto the bike about 3 minutes before the start, which means absolutely no warm-up. So yes, we were going into this one completely cold. And to make things even worse, I had done pretty much zero research on the course beforehand. I looked at the route, thought, that doesn't look bad, and seriously underestimated what was waiting for me. So as we rolled out, there was only one question on my mind. What on earth was this race going to bring? On paper, today's race actually looks pretty short, just under 19 kilometers in total. But don't let that fool you, this course is constantly going up and down and there's barely any real recovery. Right after the start, we immediately hit a short ramp heading into the SS where the road keeps rolling and the pace never really settles. From there we make our way towards the Italian villas before heading straight to the one section that really matters today, the Zwift KOM. And trust me, that's exactly where this race is going to explode. Knowing that this race was basically one constant sequence of ups and downs, I decided early on to stay attentive near the front of the group. Because on a course like this, things can explode at any moment. And trust me, when that happens, the last place you want to be is hanging at the back of the peloton. One sudden acceleration, one split in the group, and your race can be over before it has even really begun. So for me the strategy was simple, stay sharp, stay near the front and be ready for whatever was coming next. And so far the plan worked. Despite a solid punch from Dyson at the start of the climb, I was able to follow quite comfortably inside the first 10 riders of the group. The second part of the KOM is more a steady drag, and in theory that should be a section I can survive without too much trouble. A few riders did get dropped along the way, but overall a fairly large group still managed to stay together. So for now, mission accomplished. On the more gradual part of the climb, the pace stayed high, but thankfully no new attacks followed. At that point, it became clear that most riders were simply trying to recover after the steep opening section. And so we headed into the descent towards the downtown banner still together as a group. First test passed, now it was time to reset, catch the breath and get ready for lap number 2. Even though I completely missed my warm-up before the race, by lap number 2 I could at least say one thing with confidence. I was definitely warmed up now. The legs were feeling much better, the breathing had settled, and I finally started feeling like I could really race instead of just trying to survive. And honestly, that gave me a lot more confidence heading into the second half of this race. On a short ramp towards the SS, it was once again Dyson who opened up the race, with Isaac following closely behind. I tried to move with them and got into the wheel, but the pace felt just a little too high for my liking, especially knowing that the Zwift KOM was still waiting for us later in the lap. So instead of burning unnecessary energy, I made the decision to slide back into the group and stay protected. And in the end the group brought everything back together anyway. So yes, for once that was actually smart racing. After the sprint we moved through the Italian villas, just before heading towards the Zwift KOM. And this section is slightly uphill as well, so it's not exactly a place where you can completely relax. In fact, it could even be the perfect spot for an early move from one of the stronger riders. And just as I said that, Dyson and Isaac go again, and this time there is real power behind the move. The rest of the group doesn't seem to have an immediate answer, and honestly, neither do I. With the Zwift KOM coming up, I really don't want to burn a match too early. It's definitely a dangerous move, but I decide to stay calm and wait for the climb. My thinking is simple: if they have gone too deep too soon, we should still be able to bring them back on the KOM. French rider Betty immediately launches a counter-attack, and to be fair, it looks like he's closing the gap pretty quickly. I decide not to react just yet. As soon as we hit the steep section of the Zwift KOM, I decide to go all in. I manage to hold my position really well, but then GB from Footer launches an absolute power move and immediately surges straight to the front of the race. At the same time, Dyson completely cracks, while Isek somehow keeps pushing on without hesitation. But once we reach a more gradual second section, everything suddenly starts coming back together again. GB and Isek still have a gap, while Danish rider Christensen now seems to be launching a counter move of his own. So now the big question is, are GB and Isek gone for good, or are we about to bring this race back together one more time? This is getting seriously exciting. On the descent, Cabral and Anderson manage to break away from the group as well. They come very close to the wheels of GB and Isek, but in the end the two leaders manage to hold on. GB beats Isek in the final sprint, while Cabral and Anderson's late move earns them a strong third and fourth place. And just like that, my podium chances are officially gone. I launched my sprint with about 300 meters to go, and honestly, it's not a bad sprint, but once again, it's just not quite strong enough to find my way into the top 10. The sprint remains my weak point, and that's definitely something I still need to work on. But all in all, I'm happy with this one. We survived a tough rolling course, stayed in the fight until the end, and finished in a respectable 14th place. I'll definitely give this one another shot later this week, this time with a proper warm-up, and who knows, maybe next time I'll be the one launching the attack instead of reacting to everyone else. Thanks again for watching, I really appreciate the support, and I will see you very soon for stage 4, the Isendorf Express in New York. Until then, ride on, bye bye!